Happy Sunday. Just let me get that thing off my screen. All right, welcome everybody. Great to see all of you. Today is the beginning of a new month. It's August, so happy to see everybody. See, we have people from all over the US and around the world. It's so exciting to come together in community. So I don't know about you, but I have definitely been feeling the intensity on the planet. So I thought it'd be wonderful to tune in to Raphael and get an update as to where we are energetically, what's going on, what to expect. We've got Casey on the call today, and he'll just spontaneously ask questions as they may come up with Raphael. For those of you who are new to these calls, my name is Kelly Kolodny, and I've been channeling the angel Raphael since I was a college student. And by looking at my white hair, that's a long time ago. So 33 years since I started to channel, and it has been fascinating on so many levels. It has been an incredible blessing, and we are really in the thick of things right now. A lot of things Raphael's been talking about for years and years and years is, and we're coming to a head right now. So I have a sense through my meditation that I was just coming out of right before I got on that we're going to address all of that. For those of you who are new to the process, when I start to channel, I am a closed eyes channel. I can open my eyes, sometimes I do. But most of the time my eyes are closed and I ground down into the earth. I open up to the vibration of the angel Raphael, which is a very high vibration of love. And Raphael comes in by me making toning sounds. That's how I connect with Raphael. I make these sounds. I don't have the greatest voice, so bear with me for that process. Then Raphael says hello, and wherever you are, I encourage you, even though I won't be able to hear your voice because it gets overwhelming, to say hello back to Raphael, and that helps you to connect into Raphael's energy. And then Raphael will come in and have a message, and we can do some Q&A and just see what shows up. All right. So I think we're just ready to go then. For those of you who are in my Starseed 2 class, we will have our meditation again on Saturday, and we're going to be having on Sunday a Lionsgate portal activation, which is really important right now on the planet and beautiful and free. So that's Sunday at 4 o'clock at this time next week, and I hope all of you can join and tell your friends. The more we have ushering through the energy of love through that portal on 8/8/2021, the easier we're going to be able to calibrate to these energies that are coming in pretty much at a very rapid pace. So I encourage you to invite anybody who'd like to participate in that process, because the more the merrier. All right. I don't think I have any other announcements other than Starseed 1. We're doing again so that as many people can filter into 2, because you can't take Starseed 2 unless you've taken 1, because you've got to clear through a lot of stuff and get prepared, because Starseed 2 is going to be doing a lot of service work for the planet, stepping into your purpose and all that. We want to be prepared because that's going to be beautiful, but intense, okay? So that begins the 11th of September, and Casey and I will be running that class. It is by far one of my very favorite classes. It's really beautiful. So love to see you there if you feel called to be there. All right, here we go. Ready? Everybody want to just close their eyes if you're able. Kind of just let go of anything that may be on your mind and move into stillness. And it's important to just ground into the earth, just, drop your core in and anchor it around Mother Earth. And just bring that light up, out through the body and into what we would call the soul star, and just start getting the energy moving in your toric field. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello,
Hello, hello,
hello, hello.
hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
It is that we are delighted, as always, to be here and to talk to all of you. And we understand that there is much you are wanting to know and to understand. And we are happy to oblige in reporting whatever it is that you are wanting to know. But before we get in that process, we want to clear something up, for we hear many of you talking about a great awakening, or that you are awake and perhaps another is asleep, or that those who are awake have a certain understanding, a certain belief system around a certain ideology or idea or subject or way of thinking, and that the ones who are awake think in a certain way about certain things. And we want you to understand that that is not what being awake is. And that if you are feeling that you are awake because those who are awake with you are in a certain camp of understanding in which they have a belief system that is right or correct, and that those who do not have that understanding or belief are not awake, is an example of not being awake. Because it is that when you are in the vibration and the energetic imprint of I am right and you are wrong, you are not awake. So we just want to bring that into focus, because there is a lot occurring right now on the planet, and a lot of energy that is building and a momentum that is occurring. And much of it is based on being in a thought process, one that is correct and one that is incorrect. I am right and you are wrong. I believe this and you believe that. And in doing that, you are accentuating and amplifying the division. And the ascension process is about moving into a place of unity and a unified consciousness. And so it is that the perpetual talk about the awakened ones have a certain way of perceiving what is to be truth and have a market on what is true is not in alignment with a vibration that is awake. And so we just want to remind all of you about that, because the vibration of sitting in I am right and you are wrong is very deeply still continuously based in the energy of ego. And the energy of ego has gotten many of you, not you personally, we're not addressing anyone here personally, but collectively as a human collective consciousness in places that perhaps now you are evolving out of. And so we encourage you to release any thought processes around an absolute knowing of your I am right and you are wrong, and to discern an internal knowing of what is true for yourself, and that that truth is magnificent and beautiful and in alignment with the vibration of who it is that you are, and that another's internal knowing or compass or truth may be in alignment with what is divinely perfect for who it is that they are. And one is not necessarily better or less than another, or right or wrong. And so we're just wanting to clarify that because we're witnessing that on a very deep energetic level around the planet. And it is disconcerting to disconnect the energy of ascending into higher consciousness and awakening to the fact that you have an understanding of what is truth for everyone, because it is only in alignment with your own knowing. And so with that, we're here to talk to you about lots of things. And one of the things that we want to talk to you about today is that there is a momentum building. And we have been sharing this with Kelly, and you may all be feeling this. The energy is palpable. You can feel the building of the intensity of the energy. And this may be presenting itself for each and every one of you in different ways, but there is a sense that something is moving rapidly toward you. And what is happening right now is that there has been a great acceleration in the vibration of the evolution of your species. And as that is happening, it is creating a sense of wobbling, of curiosity, of a sense of almost sometimes even feeling dizzy or a need to go into deep sleep, because the reflection of your reality that you have known to be very deeply based in form and in structure is dissolving. And as it continues to dissolve, and it will dissolve only at the pace in which you are able to move with it, it will require a deep sense of ability to find your internal compass and your sense of stillness and your place of footing, and to be grounded so that you can be a witness to it without being caught in the energy or the vortex of it that might spin in a chaotic manner, creating a sense of chaos or fear or anxiety. And so it is that we came to Kelly in 1989 as the being that is named as the Angel Raphael. And as I come as the Angel Raphael, I come as a vibration of healing and a momentum in alignment with love. And it is that when I came, there was, as we were talking in the beginning, a deep slumber or sleep. And the collective was fast asleep. And slowly over the years, there has been this, what you all refer to as this awakening. And yet, in this awakened state, you look out at the sea of humanity and you wonder, have we actually awakened at all? Or are we falling into the deepest sleep possible due to the outside reflection of circumstances? And we tell you that although you may see a reflection bombarding back at you of upheaval or chaos or divisiveness or division or concern or different rebalancings of the elements and the earth, it is all moving towards something that is bringing you together in a unified knowing and remembering of who it is that you are, because it requires, in order for you to be present during the process of the momentous changes at hand, to find your inner sense of self, your compass, your inner knowing, your stillness, your quiet place, the place that resides deep within the essence of who you are at your core, that links you to the highest aspect of self. And that highest aspect of self, you may name different things for. It may be the universe, or it might be source, or it might be God, or it might be your higher self, or you may refer to it as galactic beings of light. However it is that you choose to see and perceive it, it is the part of self that remains in what we call the zero point of everything and nothingness, the place in which all resides in the remembering that you and everyone and everything and every opinion and every idea is yourself. That it is a mirrored reflection of who you are in fragmented pieces, embodied in form, reflecting back to you an opportunity to awaken to the divinity that resides within, and that there is nothing that you can see, nor look at, nor experience or understand that is separate from you, but one in the same. And as the separation continues to appear with greater and greater division, is the greatest learning opportunity to remember and to see that there are no camps of right or wrong, that there is no division at all, that that in which you look at that is reflecting to you an ideology completely not in alignment with the vibration of where you are, is the reflection of yourself seeking you to find the unified aspect of the thread of love that moves through all of you simultaneously. And so it is, I come to you today, and I came to Kelly to remind her that when she looks back over time in linear time, from the place in which I arrived to where it is that you are now, there has been a quantum leap in an awakening of consciousness. And yet we want to remind you in that many of you did not even know or connect to the angelic realm, nor did you even believe or feel or understand that you would be open to the receiving of information far beyond that in which you know. Nor did you understand the vibration and energy that you are the master creator of your experience, for the word of lull of attraction was not even a word that was used in your language or thought of, but only by the very few. For it is that you know that the spoken word, that the thought, that the inner stillness, the quietness, the sense of meditation, the breath that you use to move into a sense of stillness within the breath yourself, all of these things that are now commonplace, that are all about everywhere that you look. If you were to speak of this of many decades ago, they would be seen as frivolous, silly, out of the ordinary. And so know that you have made these leaps and you are expanding beyond form, beyond structure, into the unseen world that is truly the real world, the world in which you will move and tune into, and that we have come to you from our home, for we have not incarnated in form before, giving us a perspective to perceive and to understand, to share, and to open space for you to see beyond the limitations of structure and form into the expanded space of the zero point of all that is. And so I come to you as the angel Raphael, and I come with galactic beings of light that come in and around and surround me. And as I came during the harmonic convergence into a few as a body of energy, and although you may think of me in singularity as an angel, I am everywhere all at once, for I can enter into the vessel of anyone around your globe at the same time, for I am not separated in the time and space in which you perceive the world to be. And as this energy came and flooded your planet to start to move in to the crevices of places to shed light and to open space for you to see, it is coming again now. And that is why I wanted to give you this energetic update, for we do not ever tell of the future or give ideas of what will be, for you are the creator of your own experience, aligning with the vibration of who it is that you are, with the free will to create that in which you want to unfold personally, individually, collectively, and so on. And yet we come now to tell you that the energies that are not in the vessels such as that you know to be yourself as the human form are bombarding your planet at this time with an energy of light, for it is in our best interest to assist you during this great time of change, to evolve at a quickening pace so that you may remember the unity that webs between and through you all. And so another enormous influx of energy is bombarding the earth now, as it did during the time of the harmonic convergence. And as it comes in, many of you will feel this energy, and many are already. You may perceive it as feeling wobbly or different. You might feel a sense of trying to find your sense of center or groundedness. But you see, we are coming in, and we shall come to many of you across the globe. And if you are open and willing to feel our call and to merge with our energy and our vibration, we can assist you in accelerating your process to shed light with the vibration of love upon any parts of darkness that may need transmutation and clearing, so that you may raise your vibration and octave to a place in which you can accelerate into the alignment of the purpose of why you are here, so that in doing so collectively, as you all band together, can create a beautiful symphony of light. And so be present in the awareness of this energy. And we ask of you to let go of everything. Everything, everything, everything. And you may ask, what does that mean to let go of everything? We ask you to let go to an attachment of anything that you are attached to, whether it be a thought, an idea, or an outcome. And to let go and to move with the energy as you surrender to and with it, as it begins to assimilate, integrate, and merge with you, to accelerate you to a higher octave, that you may then align with the vibration of the highest aspect of who you are. For you see, there is a beam of light that travels from what you may call the great central sun, or the galactic core of all that is, through time and space, down to as it hits the crown of your head, through what you call your ka or pranic tube energy, through your spine and down your core, through the earth and into its core, back up and around. And this vertical line of energy is a light, a pillar of light moving continuously through your vessel. And as you begin to attune to this, you begin to start to expand this light. And the way that you begin to expand this light is to start to tune into it. And as you tune into it, you do it through the space and the willingness to be still. And as you move into the space and the willingness to be still, you find your unique and personal 0 point. And that 0 point, you see, resides within your heart. And within your heart, there is an intersection point. As the pranic tube of light runs vertical, there is a horizontal energy that is moving continuously in a direction as it passes through you and intersects with that light. And that continuous energy is the momentum of life, life force, circumstances, events, opportunities for learning, ways of perceiving and seeing, interactions, relationships, jobs, opportunities of purpose, sense of health, all of those things. They move like this across your field. And when your tube of light is narrow and thin, you can only perceive it from one perspective that is not necessarily in alignment with the highest vibration. But as you begin to expand your vertical light and open that space through a willingness just to find your sense of center through the 0 point of nothingness, that then when things begin to pass by, they are immersed in the vibration of your 0 point, which is the energy of love, and they become magical, synchronistic, beautiful, filled with perfection and light, in which you are able to see them, even if before the mind would judge or label them as something other than divine. You see the divinity in them. You see the perfection in the unfoldment of the experience as it is aligning you and bringing you toward a higher and deeper understanding of self and the unified field. And so what we are asking and why we are coming in droves to your planet at this time is to remind you of your own knowing, your own internal 0 point, and the place in which you find it and where it resides is in your heart. You see, there is a sacred chamber in your heart, and we are not speaking of the chamber in the heart of the physical heart, although that organ is filled with an auric intelligence and presence beyond the brain and the mind, in which it has not been credited. But we are speaking of a part of the heart that is emanating a deep connection to the unity of the presence of who you are. And that it is that within that place of the heart, a knowing to everything you see and everything you seek resides. And yet you do not have to go in there even to find that in which you are looking for, because when you are there, it is clear. There is no question, you just are. And as you spend more and more time within the heart, within the stillness, within that sacred chamber, you begin to become familiar with it as it becomes its own world. Oh, what is it? Hello.
Hi, Raphael.
Yes, there is an interference. Oh, one moment. Oh, there was an interference. We're wanting to finish our thought and then you can speak to us. But what we were wanting to say about the heart is that as you begin to go into the heart and become more familiar with it, it becomes its own world. You see, you're familiar with the world in which you are seeing from the perception of the eye, in which you're not actually seeing anymore because you have so much filters in between that it is difficult to see with innocent perception and to even look at things because you have named them and labeled them as good or bad, or even put a word to them in which you identify and associate through your filter what it is. But you see, as you spend time in the heart, you begin to find that there is a world there that does not have a collective ideology or agenda or consciousness, but is unified from the vibration of love. And when you spend time there, you begin to develop an entire world within your own heart. And as you begin to develop it, it begins to expand. And as it expands, it begins to merge with the inner and outer reality of what you know to be your human experience here. And it begins to merge in a way in which your experience elevates and is reflecting the vibration of that 0 point energy that is in alignment with love. And it becomes what many of you call or talk about as like heaven on earth, because that vibration, the more it begins to expand in and out and around you, that tube of light we were talking about widens. And then as life is passing through, it is passing through a beam of light that is vibrating at such a frequency that the perception of everything that is coming into your experience, whether before or not you would have labeled it as something that you had defined or judged as good or bad, is automatically seen and understood as divinely perfect.
Thank you, Raphael. And so, in terms of expanding our product tube to allow that vertical light to expand within our system, is there anything that we could do that would be most collaborative with the current energy that is coming onto the planet right now?
Yes, it is that as the energy is bombarding the planet, it is important to go back to your roots, to go back to life before the mind and the ego created form and structure to identify with. So, form and structure was something that was built collaboratively to have a third party to govern or to educate or whatever needed to be in order to give your power to something that is a third party perspective that was serving you in order to grow. But what has happened is many of those third party surrogate energies that were put in place to be of service to the internal guidance system have become corrupt in that they are serving themselves rather than the reason they were built to serve others. And so, because of that, they can no longer function and they will become more and more dysfunctional until they dissemble. And as they crumble, you will begin to recognize that the power is that you had given away to others is something that resides within you. And so, as the energies bombard the planet, which was your question, and you're wanting to expand this tube of light, you have to go back in time before the power structures were put in place, where you were following your own internal guidance system. And for example, you don't have to go that far back in linear time to indigenous cultures where they were in tune with the animals. They were in tune with Mother Nature. They were in tune with the stars. They were in tune with the storms. They were in tune with the insects and their crops and their food. Their feet were tuned to the earth. They could walk very quickly through the forest or up the mountain. They could sense and feel if there was danger or a bobcat coming. They could tune into the weather systems. They could feel energetically if there was an imbalance on Mother Earth. And so these senses over time, as you became more and more disconnected from the earth and from natural ways of attuning, became lessened, and the mind was very much developed. And in the development of the mind, you created more form, you created more structure, you created more institutions, more laws, more ways of governing and being. And all this, it is not that this is bad. This is that part of the evolutionary process where you move deeply away from a lot of your internal knowing and you decided that something external outside of self, based on what you started to all collectively believe, would give you an understanding or information, and that was true. And that was true. And much through science and math and many of the left brain ways of being have brought great teachings, technologies, and understanding and support. But because it became so incredibly out of balance, now it has to recalibrate and balance itself. And you have to return to those internal senses. We might even call them your sixth sense, or opening your pineal gland, or being able to tune in. And so, as the energy comes in at this rapid pace, bombarding you, you are being forced, because you cannot necessarily rely on the way that you could rely before on the external understanding of what was true. You have to and are being forced to go inward, to go back to that internal compass, that knowing, that sense of discernment, and to begin to feel energy again, to sense things again, to tune in, to reconnect with Mother Earth, to connect to your food, to connect to your water, to feel the vibration of the planet, to sense all of these things. And what will happen is, if you collectively cannot choose and make the effort to do this on your own, then things will keep coming in, ways of thinking, circumstances, situations, and so on, that will keep forcing you to have to do this. And so that is why we are encouraging all of you, right now, especially in the next month or so, to really deeply spend time and begin to align with, whenever you are seeking outside counsel, whenever you are looking outside of self, whenever you are looking toward form and structure, or the mind or the ego, that you shift gears and go inward. And the more that you can go into the chamber of the heart, in the empty space of 0 point, the more you can widen what we're talking about in that tube, which will allow the life circumstances that will keep floating by to be seen from a new perspective, allowing you to be elevated into a vibration in which they will not affect you mentally, emotionally, or physically. But if you do not widen it, it will rustle you. It will knock you down like a storm coming and knocking over a tree who does not have a strong root system or is not able to sway with the winds. It will snap. And so it will require both a deep grounding, which means a deeper and stronger connection to the earth. We encourage all of you to spend as much time as possible with the earth and feeling her, loving her, sending her blessings, nurturing her, recognizing that she too is going through a great transformation, and that will require her rebalancing herself. And that may appear from outside perspectives in her rebalancing herself as chaotic or destructive, but it is her simply bringing the energy back into balance. And the more that you are in balance, and because you and her are connected, you are not separate. She is not separate from you. She is your home and your mother. And when you love her and nurture her and care for her and listen to her and lay with her and be with her, she feels that love and that presence, allowing her energy to rebalance with a less chaotic energy, with more ease, because you feed off of one another. So it's very important for you all to reattune to her, to go back to listen to the elders of the great indigenous cultures that are still alive today, and tune in to how they tune into her, how they lived, how they were, and begin realigning with that energy. That is one way. The other way is to tone, to chant and chant and chant. Other ways is to come together around the fire and the cycles of the moon and the stars. Other ways to do this is to immerse yourself in the water and to close your eyes and just feel the water and continuously connect with the elements, whether it be the water or the fire or the air or the earth. You must begin to continuously returning back to the old ways and to the earth. That doesn't mean that beautiful technologies, teachings, learnings, understanding, science, all of those things will continue to bring innovation and ways to support the earth in her rebalancing, and in all of you coming into harmony together. We are not throwing out one, but we have to bring up the other very quickly now to start to create this rebalancing.
Thank you, Raphael. And so earlier you talked about that we need to let go of everything, and you talked about people being awake and not being right and everything. And somebody wrote in the chat as a question, the first question, how do you communicate with opposing views on the vaccine or probably politics or anything with family and friends?
You don't. You don't have to communicate at all about all of this. You're not here to convince another. You're here to align with your own internal knowing. This is not about you're right and you're wrong. There is no right or wrong here. You might think that there is, and that's what's so beautiful about this. There really isn't. But you get so caught in the absolute that you know that is not in a state of an awakened consciousness. It is a willingness to honor and to love one another again, to bring a sense of compassion, of forgiveness, the qualities that will support all of you in navigating these times are love, forgiveness, and gratitude. You can write it down if you want. Love, forgiveness, and gratitude. Acceptance, kindness. You're not here to judge your neighbor. You are here to tune into, without a lot of outside influence, your own internal compass and inner knowing. And then to follow that with discernment in knowing that that is in alignment with who it is that you are, whatever that might be. But it is not about convincing others otherwise. It is not about arguing about I am a Republican and I am a Democrat, or I am pro, what is it you're calling it, vaccine, or I am anti-vaccine, whatever it is. It's not, none of that actually matters at all. You all think it's such a big thing, right? You're all getting in your camp and getting your war out for it. I am right and you're wrong. That's what a war is, isn't it? This is mine. No, it's mine. I have the right to it. No, I have the right to it. How many of you have witnessed and seen within your history a great war over what? A slice or a sliver of land. No one owns the earth. No one owns the land. All that is ridiculous, arbitrary lines that you have decided. It is so silly. We can't even begin to talk about it. It is, instead of focusing on what you don't want or what another doesn't agree with you about, what is it that how can you now, in this now moment, be of service to the earth, to the evolution of the consciousness? How can you personally evolve and be in alignment with your internal knowing and trusting and inner compass? How can you make love your number one focus, your number one priority in everything that you say, in everything that you do, in every action that you take, in everything that you eat, in everything that you purchase? Is this in alignment with love? Is this in integrity? And what might be in alignment with love and integrity for you may actually not be in alignment and integrity for another, but it is a willingness for you to love them as they are aligned with their own knowing. Can you love your enemy? And who is your enemy anyway? It is yourself. Because from our perspective, in which is difficult, we know in the illusion of the experience you're caught in now, they are you. They're just mirroring the opposite thing for you so that you may love them. but they are you, because you are all together in a form of energy in which you have collectively decided to descend and fragment it into little pieces, and to find a body or a vessel to house you, in which you are in, and then you fell into a sleep. You forgot that you were in this body. You identify with it, that it is yours, that you own it, that you have this name and idea and personality, that you have this job and this home or this way of being, and that you have a belief that something is true. And another aspect of you, which is actually yourself, has another perspective. And now they are right and you are wrong, but you're actually all the same. It's just you in another body having a different opinion and experience, but it's actually yourself. So when you can love yourself by doing the internal work to love who you are, you automatically love them, and the division dissipates, because there's nothing to be divided about. It's just a thought anyway. That's all it really is, a belief. I believe this and you believe that. That's all it really is, right? It's just a thought. It isn't actually really anything. And so when you can remember that in which you are pushing against is yourself, and you love yourself, there's nothing any longer to push against. And then you can unify back to where you were to begin with, which was in a field of oneness, and a remembering that you decided to explore in this form. But you explored so much and separated and fragmented so much in such a deep forgetting that you forgot the game that you were playing. You're so caught in it that you're so asleep and deep into the meshness of it, that you have had to ask yourself from a higher perspective to bombard you with energy, to wake you up, to remember who you are. And so that's what we're doing. We're bombarding you with light. And as that light comes onto the planet, you might perceive it as darkness as the division expands, but it's just shedding more light in areas that perhaps you might label as dark, so they can be seen to be healed, so you can remember that you are love. And so that's all that's really happening. But you're afraid of it because it's unfamiliar, because you have expected everything to go and to follow certain rules. And now the rules are falling apart because you have asked yourself, which is a higher vibration, to bombard you with so much light, to wake up, to remember that you are that light. So in order to accelerate this process, and in order to do it with the least possible destruction and with the most joy and love and playfulness, it requires a willingness for you to love yourself, which means what you would honor it to be yourself that you know in this body, but it means to love everything, because everything is yourself. So when we talk about let go of everything, let go of everything you're attached to, every ideology, every thought, every way that I am right and you are wrong. Let go of having to figure it out or having to force and make it happen. Just let go or surrender to a willingness to open that tube of light to the aspect of the higher part of self and you to merge again. And with that, nothing can go wrong. Because even that in which you had perceived in the past was something that went wrong was perfect. Because it had to be, because it was, in order for your evolutionary growth. So what we are asking of you is to open your heart, to radiate love, to make love your number one priority of self and others, to be willing to open up your perspective to others' perspective, and to be able to love them even in the great difference of opinion. You cannot fight this. You cannot, what you think you're fighting the man. Who are you really fighting? You can't fight it away, but you can love it. And you can let go. And you might say, well, that is weak because change has to happen and I have to fight for whatever it might be, whatever my position is. For that is my position is for the better good of all. Is it? Is that true? Do you know that? Or perhaps the other side is for the better good of the all. Is there a willingness to see that it is actually all the same? I wonder.
Thank you, Raphael. And so, as we sink into expanding this light within inside of ourselves and observing things that come through, what is the lesson and the value of observing all the things that appear to be dark that are actually just being illuminated by the light, but the fear, the division, or watching a loved one suffer? And where do we stand in terms of being active and passive about things that we can do in our reality to prevent harm from another for ourselves?
Oh, well, when we talk about letting go of everything, we're not talking about allowing others who are harmful or deceitful or manipulative or whatever it may be to move into your field. Boundaries are deeply in alignment with the vibration of love, love for self. Because sometimes you guys get love confused. Love can be very much about having a boundary. Love can be about taking care of yourself. Love can be standing in your power. Love can be standing up for your truth. We're not saying that if you have a conviction or an energy that you want to stand up for what you know to be true, that you just sit and allow it. Let's say you just would watch slavery happen and no one would stand up or protest. No, we're not talking about that at all. But the energy that moved change was not through violence, but through love. Through standing in power, not by force, but power of an internal compass of standing in your truth, of your own knowing for freedom. Just like Gandhi. The greatest changes doesn't come from fighting, from violence. It comes from that deep strength, internal knowing of power, of aligning with love, and just keep lining up with it and lining up with it and lining up with it over and over and over and over. And you can still love the one who was the slave keeper. It's not easy. Doesn't mean you allow their behavior, but you can still be operating and seeing it from the perspective of love. And at the same time, standing up for what is true and right, that no man should ever, ever, ever be owned, ever, ever by another. That is truth. That is in alignment with love. So you just have to keep lining up with what is in alignment with love. And then discerning, what does that mean? Does that mean that if you love everything, you take the homeless person into your house? Not necessarily. Maybe, maybe not. First, you have to love yourself. First, you have to be in a place of capacity for that. And it may be the greatest thing that you do to love them is to reject them, whoever it may be. We don't know. That's where the discernment and the chamber of the heart is required. Because what is the act of love coming from? Is it an act to fill your ego, to be the hero, to fix someone? What is the intention behind the action? And is it detrimental to self? These are all varying degrees of energies that you have to practice deciphering and discerning by the internal zero point of the nothingness, going in and realigning with it and tuning into the vibration of love in each moment to the best of your capacity through the process. All right. Is that all?
Yeah, it's about all for today. Thank you so much, Raphael.
Oh, we know today was a bit intense, not our usual laughing about, but the reason we are bringing this intensity to the conversation and even the tone, which might appear of a lecturing, which we're not liking to do, is just because we are encouraging and urging all of you to seriously take your spiritual evolution seriously, perhaps, because right now you need it. We want you to be comfortable. We want you to be joyful. We want you to be playful. We want you to be happy and to expand and to grow and to tune in to the higher realms and to your divinity. And so in order to do that, all the things you've learned for all the years and all the reading and understanding and meditating, we're asking you now to implement them, to take action, to use discipline to do them, because they will serve you as the energies continue to intensify. And they are beautiful opportunities for your growth and tools to help you and to guide you so that you can be that steady, strong being that can be a helping hand to pull in others who may get caught in the turmoil, and to be of service and to hold them and to bring them to safety, to put out the something to grab them in from the storm. And so the more anchored you are, like a crazy storm coming and you're in the boat and you're anchored in really well, the more life jackets you can throw out, the more you can help others to find a sanctuary, to find a place of inner knowing and peace. And it doesn't come from any external thing that you are going to do. It comes from the willingness to go back to the old ways, to the internal understanding, to the remembering, to the knowing, to the stillness, to the presence of the now, to the breath, all the things that you know. And to keep asking yourself, is this in an alignment with love for myself, is what you ask first. This is an alignment for love for the greatest good of all. And then just keep following that. And as long as you make love your number one priority, nothing can go wrong. So I love you deeply, and I will continue to come with teachings and understanding and places to visit in the etheric and angelic realm. I will teach you all that I know in the starseed work so that you may build a grid of light around the planet and support you in accentuating and accelerating the internal gifts and knowing that are already there, that you might just need a little help waking up. That's all. You're not alone. We are here. in droves around the earth. The earth is just going through a change, a rebalancing, and it will rebalance itself. And you will wake up to the beauty of something magnificent, of a new dawn, of light, and remembering when you will look in the eyes of another and see yourself. Many blessings and good day.